Hey, everybody. I was just going to go ahead and talk about simplifying expressions with properties, or basically just kind of review the properties. There are some IXL lessons that you can use to practice this, and you should be familiar with these terms because none of these properties are new, but I know a lot of people have neglected to pay attention to them. So, properties like the associative property, and I'm going to point out in A and B that the property is the same, but one says addition and one says multiplication. Okay, so basically the associative property is when you're adding and or multiplying, the grouping will not impact the solution. It means that it won't affect the outcome. For example, if you do 3 plus 4 and then add one more, you're still going to get 8, even if you did 4 plus 1 and got 5 and then added 3 more. Okay, so the groupings with those parentheses really didn't end up making a difference on the outcome. And as in all equations, the left side is going to equal the right side. So with that said, I am going to jump in really quick and point out that the directions on the top say simplifying expressions with properties, but yet when you look at my examples, it looks more like an equation because I'm actually solving something. Okay. We're just giving examples because expressions kind of give you the outline that you could use and the variables could cause them to change. So I do want you to think about that as we go down further. Maybe you'll notice that there are more variables. Commutative property, when I think of associative, it means what are you associating with? You can associate with this person first and this one next, and it's not going to affect the outcome. Commutative, I picture commuting like traveling. Okay, and in the example, they're talking about the order in which they are added and or multiplied. Doesn't necessarily affect the outcome. So if I did 3x and then 5x and then 6x, okay, I'm still going to get the same answer, even if I did them in a different order. So 3x plus 6x plus 5x. So they've just rearranged them. Okay, one has moved to a different location. So commutative. And then distributive, which is what we've been working on, expanding an expression through distributing. Okay, so this might go into that question before when I talked about expanding fractions by factoring. Okay, so this first example right here is like the distributive property. I want 3 multiplied by everything that's inside of the parentheses. And when I get done, I end up with 6x, negative 24y, negative 3. Well, if I factored out, all 3 of those numbers are divisible by 3. So I could factor 6x into 3 groups of 2x. Negative 24y would be 3 groups of negative 8. And negative 3 would be 3 groups of negative 1. So that's the difference between expanding or just the distributive property in the first place. Anyways, as we move on, sorry, I'm drawing all over the place here. Okay. Reviewing the following mathematical phrases like combining like terms. We've talked about this a lot. Combining means putting things together. So adding. And like terms mean that they share the same variable or they are all constants, therefore are just a number with no variable, and therefore can be combined. So just quickly to talk about the example here, I have 4x, which is the same as the negative 2x. So I can combine those, a positive 4 and a negative 2. I also have the positive 3y that I could combine with the negative 6y. And then I have a constant of 7 and a constant of 3. So as you look down below, they regroup them to put the 4x and the negative 2x next to each other, the positive 3y and the negative 6y together, and then the two constants together at the end. They combined them, so now I just have one term, 2x. I have one term with negative 3y, and then I have one constant combination of the 7 and 3 equaling 10. Okay, and then equivalent expressions, two expressions that are equal but written differently. Okay, so in this example, you see one uses the distributive property and the other has them all put together. So it has already been distributed. One has been factored out. Okay, so just so that you guys get the idea of these terms and potentially maybe how to use them in the future. Okay, and there are other examples just so that you know of where you will see them. You could possibly see an expression with geometry or geometrical shapes. Okay, I would recommend that you go ahead and attempt on IXL maybe some of the property lessons, okay, independently. Thank you.